Hello. Today I have an HP Pavilion model 15-N278SA. This is from August of 2014. The customer says it's been running slowly and complaining of low disk space, and also several of the keys on the keyboard have stopped working. This row and this row in the numpad are just completely inoperative. So we're going to replace the keyboard. I had a look at it the other day. And it's definitely the keyboard failing. I plugged in an external keyboard, it all works fine. It's just the circuitry inside this one is failing. And we're also going to replace the hard drive with a solid state drive. I'm going to start with the keyboard just to see what's under the keyboard. I doubt I'd be able to access the hard drive this way, but I might be able to. With this computer, I'm not exactly sure how the bottom comes off. I won't know until I start taking screws out. But I'm going to do the keyboard first. In order to replace the keyboard in this laptop, there's a single screw on the back that has a little keyboard icon. I don't know if you can see that or not, but if I remove that screw, then I should be able to pop the keyboard out. So I'm going to start here. Actually, I'm going to start here. I have a couple of plastic pry tools, and the instructions I've seen other people push on the screw hole, so pushing up from underneath in order to get some purchase in between the keyboard and the case. And I think I might do that myself. Actually, no. That was relatively straightforward. To just get the tool in there and start releasing clips. The first video I saw of somebody doing this, as he dragged his tool across the keyboard, he also dragged the sharp edge of his tool across the screen. So I'm careful not to do that myself. So the keyboard comes up, and then it's got the pretty standard keyboard connector, the ribbon cable. Just flip this latch up. See that? It just pops up, and then the ribbon cable should pop out. So unfortunately, there's no easy access to the hard drive from this side. Now, to try to remove the bottom of the laptop, find the hard drive. I'm guessing the RAM is here and the CD drive is here. The hard drive is going to be either here or here, probably up here, but won't know until I open it up. That screw won't come out of the hole. Maybe I'll try something with a stronger magnet. You know. So I think I've got all the screws out. Oh, wouldn't have been the first time that the 3 screws along here caught me by surprise, but there are 3. One, two, 3. Sort of hiding away there. I missed a screw. Those are loose. So now we just need to break the panel free without cracking any of the plastic. Trying to find the easiest way in here without using much force. There we go. Nice, okay. Need to be careful around the USB ports and so on to make sure that I don't put too much force and bend that plastic or crack it. So we'll just go gently here. You can see that it's separated. Yeah. When it does go, I'm hardly putting any force, just touching them in the right place, and it just pops. Oh, yeah. Don't fry too much. I'm going to make sure that that top plate isn't connected to this hinge here, so I don't want to break that off. It's not moving, and I want to make sure that, oh yeah, that's separate. Okay. Just trying to go gently undo the clips and not pry and break them. Normally they just pop when they're ready to go. They pop open. This feels like there might be another fastener somewhere. I can see the clip that's still attached. The static strap, just in case. Wasn't pulling hard enough. That all looks good. So the hard drive is underneath this ribbon cable. So I'm going to disconnect the ribbon cable. And I believe this is held in with just friction with this plasticized rubber silicone hard drive carrier. No, there's possibly a screw underneath this little daughter board here. So let's check that. And this has USB, so it's probably wedged in there like that. Okay. No screws, but it was wedged under there. Yeah. Okay, so let's run the drive. I'm going to set this back together. I'm not going to close that all the way. So I've got a new crucial 256 or 250 gig MX500 SSD that I will use to copy this drive contents onto. Okay, so it looks like the system detects the MX500, which is only a 250 gig drive, as disk 4, and the Toshiba hard drive, which is the customer's disk. Just going to double check that. Yep. As disk 8. So I want to copy disk 8 to disk 4. And I will let Partition Wizard handle the resizing of the partitions. Sometimes this happens where when it's resizing to a smaller disk, it creates space for all the partitions except the last one, the recovery partition. In this case, there is an 18.2 gig recovery partition that isn't being copied over. It doesn't have enough room. So it's put 3.3 gigabytes, so I need to make about 14.9 additional gigabytes available. So I'm going to take those from this partition, 14.9, so we'll say we'll make this 212.5. And then we'll move this one over. And now this has space, the 18.6, that was 18.2. I think we'll be okay. So now there's that empty partition, or empty space. I'm going to copy this partition to disk 4 as well. Copy that to disk 4 in that blank space there. And we'll just use it all. Copy disk 8, which is the customer's. Just double check in Toshiba. Disk 8 to disk 4. Disk 4 is the 250 gig MX500. Everything else in here looks good. It's a very clean fan. No little bits of plastic from being pried open improperly. No, this looks good. Ready to go back together. Check and make sure that the back snapped in everywhere. Yes, it did. Okay. I'll put the keyboard screws in first. Oops. Have these two ribbon cables. These are going to be a little bit tricky just because they're so small. Try to get my little pry tool underneath the blue bit, the handle, essentially. Should go in quite easily. Once I get a hold of them anyway. Yeah, once they fall into the right position. This one actually wasn't 100% straight when I took it out, so I'm gonna see if I can just make sure that it's in the right position. There we go. Now for the keyboard. Again, I like to do the one side and then the other side. So I did the one side and then shifted the keyboard over toward that side to make, to give me another millimeter on this side. Now, the rest should just pop in across the top. Good. Forgot about these flat little screws again. Okay, we'll call that a success. I'm just going to log in and do some tests to make sure that it works properly, and then give it a wipe down and phone the customer. Thanks for watching.